Hey fam, I'm back. Wanted to chit chat a little bit. I was just thinking about how so many people are going through so much right now. A lot of us are going through some type of struggle trial. Um, some of us might say catastrophes in life. Some people might say the things that they're going through is causing depression, and you want a way out of it. And sometimes people do commit suicide to escape their problems. But I just want to say this, and I know it's hard because sometimes people can't say enough to you to get you to believe what they're saying. You need to experience uh, having faith and what that does for you personally, because it's a personal thing. And a lot of times, people who are seeming to be stronger than we are, you won't understand where they're getting this strength from. Well, I'm going to tell you. We have this built in mechanism to survive because we are connected to the Father, right? And yes, we all deal with things differently. And we always think that other people are stronger than we are, and we're weaker than other people. But that's not the case. We all have the same resilience. We choose to deal with circumstances the way we choose to deal with them. And I'm being real with that. I think that we all have the same strength. And a lot of people don't feel like that. But I believe that God doesn't give any of us any more than we can bear. And when you begin to feel like you can't take it anymore, it is our job to go to Him. To go to Him and ask for His help, to seek His face, humble ourselves, and just surrender everything to Him. I mean, everything. Although He's always watching and He knows exactly what we're going through and experiencing, He knows what's going to happen before it occurs. And that's the kind of Father that we can trust because He's wise. He knows it all. He knows we need Him. We don't know we need Him. We think we can do everything on our own. And I remember being like that when I was younger. I never even thought to ask God to help me, which was crazy. I thought that I could roll with the punches. I got this. I can do this on my own. I'm strong enough until I wasn't, until I started experiencing anxiety attacks. And I guess I didn't feel so depressed, but they say anxiety and depression go hand in hand, right? What I was experiencing was fear, a great fear. I mean, extremely great fear, whereas I kept thinking that I was going to die. Like the thought of death just kept consuming my thoughts. I would watch television. I would watch some of my favorite shows. I remember watching Fresh Prince back then. And I remember watching and looking at the people and they're wondering how they were going to die. Like my thoughts were filled with death, which is really crazy. It was not normal. So I knew something was coming on me, something was coming over me. And I just kept thinking about death. And at that time, I wasn't feeling depressed. I didn't feel sad or anything. Just woke up one day and it seemed like this overwhelming fear just took over my whole being. In my heart, I felt fearful. In my head, I felt thought nothing but dreadful thoughts. When I went outside, I was fearful that somebody was on the roofs of buildings and they were going to shoot me. I even began to be afraid to cross the street. Like the cars just seemed so that they was going too fast, and I was afraid to cross the street. I kept thinking I'm gonna get hit by a car. When I sent my children to school, I was thinking they were gonna go into school and get choke on their lunch. When somebody tells you that they're feeling fearful and they're filled with anxiety, believe them. It's not a fun place or space to be in because you can't even think of anything joyful. Most of the time, you're just thinking about, I want to feel better than this, but I can't get out of this headspace. Everything you think about is something gruesome. And that's a horrible place to be. And I remember feeling like that. Um, and it was insane. I remember taking my daughters to school. I had taken them to school and I just cried. I went to the window and I just looked out and I said, Lord, if you're there, please show me. And let me tell you something. He's still answering that prayer, that request till this day. He's always proven myself to him. And it's almost like he said, it's about time, my daughter. It's about time. Like, I believe that I have went through a lot of traumatic experiences. I lost my mom at 17. And I remember being angry with God because of that, because I kept praying for her to get well. And I was like, why didn't you let her get well? You let her die. And now I don't have my mom. I'm mad at you. I'm not going to talk to you anymore. You know, it was like that. And I'm like, I'm not talking to the Lord no more. But of course, I forgot that declaration. Once I had children, what I remembered was my grandmother's praying with me. And I used to pray with my daughters every night. We would pray before we went to sleep, and then of course we bless our food. And after a while, your children are going to grow older and they're going to get curious, and they started asking me, "Mom, who are we talking to?" So I'd explain we were talking to our Creator. He's our Heavenly Father. And he was like, "Oh, okay." Kiana was mainly asking those questions because she was the oldest at the time. And my relationship with the Lord wasn't where it should have been. I, at the time, had desired to be some type of R&B singer, right? So I was in a group called Elegance. Shout out to my sisters, Sadani, Masha, and Tanya. Elegance was doing our little thing. We were practicing, enjoying one another's company. We did more laughing and playing than rehearsing, to tell you the truth, because we got along so well. But we were embarking on this singing journey. We were trying to get this group formed, and we did a little couple of gigs here and there and everything, you know. And I remember at the time I was hoarse a lot. I kept losing my voice a lot. And I was in the group around the time I started experiencing these anxiety attacks and stuff like that. And I realized a lot of times when I went to sing, my voice was shot. I was losing my voice all the time. So I laugh and I make a joke and I say the Lord was like, "Oh, you think that's what you're going to do with your voice? You think you're going to be singing what, for the world? When I gave you that gift, right, I'm going to take it from you. Every time you open your mouth, and if the song ain't about me, you're not going to be able to get them notes out." And that's exactly how it seemed. And at the time, you know, I was going through my little spiritual struggle. Back then, I was assuming the devil was messing with me. And you know, we can't be so sure about everything. We like to blame Satan for a lot of things. If you really think about it, we blame him for a lot of things. A lot of times it ain't even him. Somebody else has a better, bigger plan for you, and that's the Most High God. And so he's going to guide you where he wants you to go. And sometimes he's going to allow things to occur to get your attention, because that's exactly what happened to me. I started thinking about death a lot. And in thinking about death, I began to think about my soul. What's going to happen to me if I die right now? Because I know I'm not in good standing with the Lord. So if I were to die right now, I'm going to hell. I knew enough to know that if you're not living for the Lord, then you're against him. If you're not with him, then you're his enemy. And enemies don't make it into the kingdom. The enemy of God does not make it into the kingdom. Satan was his first enemy. And what happened to him? He got booted out of there, right? So if we're choosing to live a lifestyle that is more to conducive to serving him, then we can't share a life experience with the Father later on. And so this fear was coming in, making me think about that. So it wasn't Satan, because Satan don't care about me. He doesn't care about me. He probably would have been whispering in my ear, "Yeah, girl, go on out there, sell your soul to the devil, go get yourself a record deal and be worldly." But it wasn't him. The Lord was like, "I have a bigger, better plan for you, honey. And that's not the direction in which I want you to go." So I was experiencing these anxiety attacks and stuff. And when I went home one day, after taking my daughters to school, I went to the window and I just cried out. I literally, when I say I released everything I was feeling, I just said it out loud and I cried. I was like, "Lord, if you're real, please show me, because I'm not feeling you at all." And I wasn't. When I tell you, I just felt lonely. And especially after being a person who was happy-go-lucky. I hate using that word luck now that I know the Lord he blesses. That word luck is like, but y'all know, y'all understand what I'm saying. It's just a term. I was always this happy-go-lucky person, always trying to cheer other people up. And all of a sudden, I felt heavy. I felt dark, lonely, and just weird and just out of sync and not myself. And when I poured my heart out to the Lord, I left the window. I always enjoyed looking up at the sky. I still do. I know he's up there, up there. So I was talking to him directly with my eyes focused on the sky. And I just went over to my bed and I got on my knees. And I mean, I cried my guts out. I just cried. I mean, ugly cry, ugly, nose running, just It was a mess. But let me tell you something. As I was crying out to the Lord and just telling him how I felt, he already knew how I felt. But it's something about words. Words are powerful. The Lord created this world with words. He spoke everything in existence. The only thing he actually used his hands for were to mold people. He molded Adam with his hand. That's when he actually physically got in there. So, we're special like that. He actually molded us with his hands. But everything else, he spoke it. Let there be light. Let there be whatever. He spoke it, right? And so our words are very powerful. So I use my words to express myself and pour my heart out to him because I just didn't feel like there was nothing else to do, and there wasn't. That was the right thing to do. That was the best thing that I could have done, was to pour my heart and soul out. And I did that. And while I was on my knees, I kid you not, I felt a warm presence just cover me. It was like a hug, just like I was being hugged. And I just sat on my knees. I don't even know, I can't tell you how long I was on my knees crying out and praying. I don't remember, because time is not important when you're experiencing something like that. You don't have no idea how long you were doing that. I just know it felt good to get it all out, to say how I felt, to tell him I was scared, to tell him I didn't feel his presence, to tell him that I needed him, to just beg him to be with me. It just felt good to do all of that. And I'm serious. Ever since then, everything wasn't perfect. I'm 53 years old. I was 26, 27 at the time. I'm 53. I've experienced hardships and trials and stuff since then. Life is not going to be a bowl of peaches just because you give your heart to the Lord. But guess what? I'm not alone. I have help. I have heavenly help. And I experience the joy of being faithful and being watched over by a faithful God, because he desires to help us. And this is what a lot of us don't understand. We want to do our own thing and then pray and ask him to bless us in the mess that we in, right? And we want things to go the way we want them to go. And we treat the Lord like he's some kind of genie for the most part. It's like, I want my 3 wishes, Lord, and I'm not going to do what you asked me to do, but I'm just going to ask of you all the things I desire without giving you what you want. And life doesn't go that way. And I learned that long ago. And so when I was going through trials and stuff, I learned to rejoice in them. Even if I was crying because I was in church and I was singing on the praise team, the choir, I was singing in everywhere I could sing. I was invited to sing in a choir. I was invited to sing in a group. And I was kind of, even after being in an R&B group, I was like kind of shy to be in front of people because I didn't even know, could I dance? I was young and I was like, should I dance? Because I love to move. And now I know I can dance. I can praise dance. I can dance all the time, praising the Lord. It's not just for the world to dance. God gave us dance. We're supposed to use our bodies to glorify him in every way, right? But when I first started singing for the Lord, I was standing before people and I'm just standing there so stiff because I was like, I can't move. But when music moves me, I wanted to rock. I felt elated, I felt good, but I had to sit there like a statue. I was scared to move. And that was my early stages of life. But as I began to get comfortable in it, I never sang for attention's sake. I never even thought about, oh, I want to impress these people with my voice. I always loved glorifying the Lord by singing. And it just felt good to release myself. And the deeper my relationship began to be with him, as I started to pray more and study the Bible more and just communicate with him more, the more the words to the songs that I sang in church had meaning. And I began to spill my guts out and just cry out to the Lord, ugly, in front of everybody. And I was always one to tell them, y'all don't have to worship with me. I will worship right here before y'all by myself, because I felt that way about the Lord. There was a release in the worship experience for me that I couldn't get from nothing else. Now I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Not even sex can give you that type of release, to just abandon yourself and just give your all to the Lord and have that one-on-one experience with him, even though you're in front of a group of people and sharing the worship experience with other people. To me, it was always one-on-one communication with me and my God. I was thanking him for just being so good to me, knowing I didn't deserve it. It was sheer gratitude all the time. And then I remember going through things and I'm praying whether it had to do with my children or my own personal experience, I would praise my way through the pain. I praised my way through the pain. There was no other way that I can get immediate satisfaction until I released myself, humbled myself before my God, and just worshiped Him. And I did this at home privately as well, because that was what helped me to endure. I believe that if we don't trust the Lord, well, I know it for a fact, if we don't trust Him, and we don't abandon ourselves and surrender all, we're never going to get our needs met. We're never going to get our needs met spiritually. We have to meet the Lord halfway. We have to meet Him. He's here, we're here. We have to come up so He can come down and be with us, because He's not going to do everything for us. He's there available, waiting, saying, child, trust me, I'm right here. Hello, give me some attention. I'm here to help you. And for a long time, I think that I know that I personally, we're more alike than we like to admit sometimes. A lot of us are going through the same things. It's just that we make different decisions. But a lot of us are going through the same thing. What He was wanting me to do was acknowledge Him. And although I knew He was real, I didn't release everything to Him like I should have. And that's what brought me to that point of anxiety. I was just going on with my life and trying to, okay, that happened, but okay, not dealing with it. When you don't deal with your hurt, it comes back to haunt you. You have to release it. You need to talk to the Lord about it and ask Him for healing. That's what you need, the healing part. Confession leads to healing. When you say something, and you get it out and you say it out loud, you put it out there. And you say, I need help. Because a lot of times we don't want to say those words. I don't know what it is with us. We don't want to confess and admit that we need help. We need help. We do. We just do. We're not alone. We need help. Confess it. Say it. Ask for it. Beg for it. Because that's what I did. I begged for it. And I always say, I remember that day a lot till this day. Because when certain things occur, and I'm like, Lord, I see you. I'll remember when I said, Lord, show me you because I don't see you. He has not stopped answering that prayer yet. He know that when I cried out, it was sincere. It was. I was desperate. I was desperate. I was desperately longing for Him. And I had not allowed myself to have that experience until I had no choice. And a lot of times that's what we do. We wait till we hit rock bottom to look up. Now that we're at our lowest point, now we look up. Oh God, that's right. You're there. I forgot. We're torturing ourselves a lot of the times. We are torturing ourselves. He's available. He's available, family. And so in that experience, it was a lot of times that I was sitting down writing songs and poetry, and it was based on my experience with the Lord. That's what it was based on. And so I just wanted to share that with you all. Give yourself completely over to the Father because He is our help. And a lot of times people cannot, I'm not going to say a lot of times, people cannot fill the shoes of the Father in your life. It's just no way. He gave us one another to help one another and encourage one another, but nobody is Him. He is God and God alone, and He's a jealous God. Pay attention to what He's doing in your life. Your journey is a beautiful thing. As you journey through this life, hold His hand and let Him lead you because He will not lead us astray. It's only when we do our own will that we get in trouble. And He's so good, so kind, so merciful, so long-suffering, so gracious that He will forgive us and give you another chance. So keep that in mind, family. I love you very much. And this Sabbath, spend some time with the Lord. Just talk to Him. If you're worried, tell Him. If you're scared, tell Him. If you're feeling insecure, tell Him. If you feel like dying, if you're tired of this life, tell Him. Talk to Him. Just say it out loud and keep saying it until you decide that you felt His presence and you feel that warmth, that love, that embrace, and you're like, He's real. He's not going to leave you lonely. He said, I'll never leave you nor forsake you. But we have to meet Him. We have to meet Him halfway. He's not going to do everything for us, family. All right. Be blessed. I pray that something I shared with you has helped you, because I'm 53. I've lived and I've had some experiences. I'm still having experiences and I'm still keeping the faith because I know what He's capable of. And once you know that, no matter what you're going through, we don't like it. We don't want to go through trials and tribulations, but it makes us stronger. It makes you a new you. It makes you a better being. Because now you say, you know what? I'm learning. I'm learning from life experiences. I know how to deal with this. I know how to navigate because I'm in the arms of my daddy. Daddy got me. Know that daddy got you. Peace, love, and blessings, family.